Hello, and welcome to a new uh, video from Dr. Green's music scene. It's been quite a while since I last put one together like this, but I feel like it's time for something new to happen, and I'm hoping that you will find value of this one. If you do find value of it, I ask that you subscribe to my channel because I'll be adding more content to it as we go along, hoping more about how to build video content, how to edit video content, and things that you can do on a budget. As you can tell, this video is going to be about creating video content on a budget, and I hope that you will find value on it. Now, some of the things that you need to consider whenever you're building video content is, of course, what program you're going to use. Now, here we go. All right. Now, some things that you might want to consider. I have 3 things that you might want to consider whenever you're deciding what program you're going to actually use. You may have one that you like very well, but I'm going to be going over the one that has worked very well for me. Okay, the first thing that you need to keep in mind is what operating system are you going to be working with? Well, you could either be working with Windows, you could work with Mac, you could work with Linux. There's a whole bunch of different ones you could possibly use for. I personally have Windows. I'm using Windows 10 to build this, and I use Windows 10 to do quite a bit of my stuff. So that's what I'll be operating from. But this program that I'm going to be presenting to you will operate on Windows, Mac, and Linux. The other thing you need to take into consideration is how easy is it to set up? How easy is it for you to install on your computer? Working with its various components, and what do you need in order for it to work with? Now, for me, I had to make sure that I had some sort of camera because my computer did not come with a webcam. So I did have to buy myself a webcam. I got myself a nice quality one, and as you can tell, the picture is very clear, and that's what I am using for this. And finally, the most important thing is the cost. How much is it going to cost for you to get this? Is it going to be something you can download onto your computer? Is it going to be something that you have to log onto a website to do? Do you have a certain portion that's going to be of free components, and then you have to purchase other components to do other things with it? Wonderful thing about the program that I'm using here is that it is totally 100% free. It is a free program, and I'm hoping that you will think about considering using it. I am not sponsored by this company. I'm just letting you know that it's out there and it's free, and this is the program that I like using. I am using OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, otherwise known now as OBS Studio. You can see that it is available in both Windows, Mac OS 10.13 Plus, and in Linux. Now I'm going to take you directly to their website here right quick so you can see what it kind of looks like. Let's see if I can get myself over there. There we go. Okay, this is the actual website that you would go to. Notice that the actual name, you'll pardon me because I have a few monitors open. This is the actual address that you would go to get to here, obsproject.com. Like I said, it is free. It is free on open source software. Now, what does open source mean? Well, open source software, or OSS, is a type of computer software in which source code is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants users the right to use, study, change, and distribute the software to anyone and for any purpose. Open source software may be developed in a collaborative public manner. Open source software is a prominent example of open collaboration, people working together. This is why I really, really like this version. Okay, this is literally what makes it user friendly for me. You will note that on the program itself, let's see, where's my thing? There it is. Okay, you'll note on the program itself, its premier sponsors here. It gives you some information about the various features that it has. I'll be going over some of the things that will help you also. and it will also help you know to be able to make high quality, professional looking content. Okay. Now, of course, your first one's not necessarily going to be professional looking, but I'm sure that you will do your very best to make it whatever it is. Okay. So let's see if this is going to let me do it. Okay, let me go back over here and come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay, now this is what the home page or the opening screen for OBS will look like. You haven't opened up anything, you haven't made anything yet. Now, the main system here in the center, right here, that's what you're going to be working with most of the time. That's where what you record will appear. Of course, whenever you build things, they're going to be in various places down here, and we'll go over some of those right now. Now, let's see. This is the main, like I said, this is the main screen. We'll show you what you look like, and its many controls. The only two that you're really going to need to really pay attention to are the scenes and the sources. The scenes are going to be what appear on the screen, and the sources are going to be what things are used in each one of the scenes. Okay, so let's look at those now. Okay, first we're going to look like is the scenes. We're going to look at the scene section first. Okay, so here's kind of a close-up of what the scene section looks like. And this thing that's circled in yellow, the plus sign, that's the thing that you're going to be using to add your scenes. Now, the way I put scenes together is that I label it what it's going to be. Is it going to be a logo? Is it going to be a camera with a Windows capture? Is it going to be a camera with a screen capture? Is it going to be audio happening here? This is what I use to build these things. I get all my scenes built together first. Okay. The next thing that I'll look at is the sources. Now, these are the sources. These are the things that you're going to need to use in each one of your scenes. Okay. So here's what this one looks like. And once again, you've got the plus sign. Now, whenever you click on the plus sign, you're going to add your sources. You're going to add your camera. You're going to add your displays. You're going to add what you want to capture. Now, the wonderful thing about this program is that if you don't have two screens to work with, you can still work with one screen and still make something like this. What you would do is that you would actually shrink down OBS to where it's a portion of your monitor screen, and then open up whatever other program you would want to be using on your screen at the same time. And OBS, whenever you build your sources, will recognize that second thing, that program that you have open on your main screen, as another capture. It would be a Windows capture or a window capture, and it would allow you to build it as a source in here. And that way you would be able to display two things at the same time. Really good feature that I really like about this program. Okay. Now, once again, back here are some things that you're going to need to make sure you're paying attention to, especially whenever you're making your show, making your video content. You need to make sure that your audio is coming through. Okay. Most of the time, whenever you're building audio, the audio should be set automatically with your mic that you have with your system. My system did not, like I said, did not have a camera. It also did not have a microphone. But fortunately, this webcam I'm using has both. It has a camera and a microphone. So that's what I'm using to talk to you right now. Just make sure that it's installed, and it should be installed automatically whenever you install OBS Studio onto your computer. Very simple. Just make sure that you're getting some sort of reaction either from the mic auxiliary, desktop audio, or even one of the other ones that are labeled down. It's like mine is actually labeled as camera, and I can actually tell that I'm getting reactions for my mic. Let's see. The next one that you need to be paying attention to is the scenes transition. Now, the scenes transition is how the program will handle going from one scene to the next. Okay, from one scene to the next. You'll notice here on this picture, this is actually a picture, this is not the actual display I'm working with. This picture shows that it's set to fade, which is very, very smooth in between. You could do a fade, you could do a cut, you could do a slide. Any one of those would work with here. Now the duration that you see underneath it, it's set for 300 milliseconds. Now milliseconds takes 1,000 milliseconds to make 1 second. Okay. Now what I'm using right now, I'm using 500 milliseconds, which is half a second. That's how much I've given in between changing from one scene to the next. And it does it very smoothly. I really like the fade function. Does it very smoothly and very cleanly. Okay. You can increase or decrease the length of your duration as you wish. You can set it for however long you want. Just understand that in transition time, some other things might happen. You might have an audio bleed over. You might have various problems might happen. But for me, 500 milliseconds, half a second, is what I use for transitions in between. Okay, and finally, the last thing, this is probably the most important thing whenever you're building, when you're getting ready, is this screen, this section of the screen right there. I call it the control section. Now the thing about the control section is that the one button that you're definitely going to need to make sure you know about is the start recording. Now you'll notice there's a start streaming button there. The streaming is if you're actually going to be going live to a site like YouTube or live Facebook, someplace like that. As a starting point, I would suggest not doing that immediately. I would suggest you start recording. This keeps it local. You don't have to worry about anybody else seeing it. It's saved to your hard drive on your computer, and it just seems to work better that way for me. And I think that it will work the same way for you. Whenever you start a recording, you of course will be clicking on start recording, but as soon as you click on that, you'll notice that it changes over to stop recording. That's because that's going to be the same button that you're going to press whenever you're finished with your product, with your video that you're making. Now, after you click it to tell it to stop, it's going to say stopping recording. That means that the computer is working on trying to save the video onto your hard drive in the format that you've told it to save it. Okay? Now, this process will take a bit, and like I said, it'll be saved to your local hard drive. It'll be saved by default in your videos file that you have on your computer. That's where it's set to default save for. You can go into the settings and set it for wherever you wish it to set. Just understand, videos have a habit of taking up a whole lot of space. So you may not want to store it on your main hard drive. You may want to set it to an external hard drive, a jump drive, something like that. That's what I'm doing here. I have an external hard drive set up to record and save everything to it, so I don't really have to worry about losing space. So now that we've got all that behind us, here we go. Here are some of the things that I suggest that you look at in making your first video. Here are my suggestions. Okay, these are the things that I do. Okay, first thing, make sure you make a short video. After you've got everything set, make sure everything is set up. Make sure it's all working correctly, because you don't want to go through, make your video like this one's right now. It's over 14 minutes long right now. I don't want to have to make this one, get it all saved, and then all of a sudden watch it to make sure everything's working, and lo and behold, there was something not working. I made a whole bunch of really short, like 10-15 second videos first, to make sure each one of my scenes, the mic, the video, everything was set up exactly the way I want it to do. Next thing you want to do is that you want to make a script. Now, I am working with a script. Believe it or not, some people will think I am a lunatic, but I am working with a script. I actually have a 3-page script that I'm working from, and that way I make sure I've got everything covered, and I make sure that I'm going in the direction that I want to go. So you're going to make a script, and then also in the presentation, in these graphics that you're seeing on screen, that's actually a PowerPoint I built. So I'm showing PowerPoint on here at the same time. You can do the same thing with Keynote. you could do it with Google Slides. Okay, whatever you would like to use, you can put on the screen. You can put on the screen right here and show at the same time. Makes putting things together a lot easier as far as I'm concerned whenever I'm making a video like this. Now, don't expect it to go perfectly the first time. Heaven forbid, you should get it exactly right the first time. If you get it exactly right the first time, watch out, because something will come through and bite you. And you don't want to make sure, okay? It may take several tries for you to get it right. Like I said, I made many small videos to make sure everything was working the way I wanted it to before I actually started making this video. That comes from experience, and I'm hoping that you will learn from my experience on this, okay? After you finish making it, watch it through one time, but don't be picky. Don't be too picky. I know there's a misspelling there. Don't be too picky. Be a little forgiving to yourself. If there's something majorly wrong, yeah, you can go back and fix it. If not, it's okay. It is your first video, so be a little forgiving on yourself, okay? And finally, decide where you want to upload your video. Now, you can upload your video to YouTube, to Google Drive, to wherever you happen to have an account that allows you to store things like this for free. Make sure you follow the directions, follow the instructions on that site. Make sure you click the appropriate buttons. Make sure you follow the protocol that they say. Make sure it's in the format that they say, which it should be, and load it to there. Okay? After you've done all that, congratulations, you have made your first video content, and you've definitely made it on a budget. Okay, so there you are. You've made video content. You are creating right now, and once you've done it a couple of times, it'll get a little bit easier as you go. So now that we've come to the end, I hope that you have found some sort of video on this. I do appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. I know it's been kind of long here. We're coming up on almost 17.5 minutes. I do appreciate you watching. 4 things I want to make sure that you know. Please stay safe, stay kind, be happy, and make it a great day.